What up, what up, what up? All right, I've been gone for a while. I got sick really bad. I'm good now. I promise. I'm good. So, yeah, that's why I wasn't making videos. I know all my, 12 subscribers or something like that really missing me. Sorry to let you down. I'm back and I'm good now. But, shout out that one my last NWSL video got like 1,000 views. How'd that happen? I don't know. So, this NWSL video, let's get it to 1,000. So, I know I'm late on it. I meant to do this. I wrote it up, and then I kind of lost my voice, too. So, the NWSL dropped their plans for the NWSL Championship game. I've reviewed the plans, and I believe they are stupid. So, as you can see here in these tweets from my good buddy Dan Lalueta, just judging by how you can tell I pronounce his name, he's not my good buddy. I have no idea who this guy is. Sorry, bro. The NWSL Championship will be played at Providence Park, home of the Portland Thorns, on Saturday, November 20th. Kickoff at 12 p.m. Eastern Time or 9 a.m. local time. My 2-year-old cousin can plan better events than this. Basically, there's two issues to address here: the timing and the hosting site. Now, for people like me in the Eastern Time Zone, watching a game at 12 o'clock isn't so bad. By now, most of us have already been up a couple of hours. I say as if I'm actually one of those people. But still, it's noon. It's a decent time. But for y'all on the West Coast, 9 a.m.? If the final kicks off at 9 a.m., then what time do you start tailgating? I mean, come on, I can't wait for the halftime show, where they just show cartoons in the Jumbotron as the fans eat their overpriced breakfast they got from the concession stand. Like, that's just stupid. But it gets worse. I've done my weather research. Portland's average high temperature for November is between 50 and 55 degrees Fahrenheit. That's just November in general, not late November. So as a man from an area with very similar weather patterns, it doesn't take me long to figure out what the temperature would be at 9 a.m. Quite frankly, I wouldn't be a big fan about watching a championship game at 9 a.m. in probably 35 to 40 degree weather. So let's just say we have a match between Orlando and Houston in the championship game. Yeah, I'd be real happy knowing that my team that plays in the nice, warm South will be playing a final in freezing Portland instead of sunny Houston or Orlando. No disrespect, Portland fans. I understand what it's like, but that is so dumb. And then if I have an issue with the championship being played at noon, then when should it take place? Well, you have to take into consideration the other leagues. First off, we're talking about a Saturday in late November. So this NWSL championship game is fighting against college football, college basketball, the NBA, and the NHL. Possibly the MLS and the USL, depending on how they schedule their games. Now, if you set the final at the initial time, which is noon Eastern Time, 9 o'clock local time, the only conflicts here would be college football and a few college basketball games. And those games will play all day, so that's an issue no matter what. But the later it gets, you have to take into effect the NBA and the NHL, which games begin at around 7 o'clock p.m. So the goal would be to have the match over before then, while still pleasing the fans. This makes me say around 5 p.m. Eastern Time, 2 p.m. West Coast time. This way it's not too early or too late for everyone, and it hardly conflicts with any other sports. Yes, I know there's legal obligations with TV deals and stuff, and scheduling around 5 would probably be very, very tough. But almost any other time afternoon would be better, even if it was competing with 4 other sports leagues. Second, now we talk about the location of the final. Now look, I understand Portland is 3 points clear of second place with a game in hand at the time I wrote this. Now, I understand Portland is 6 points clear of second with a game in hand, and to add to that, 538 has them with a 60% chance to make the final. If I was a betting man, I'd say Portland will probably make the finals. But, NWSL, have you ever heard the expression, don't count your chickens before they hatch? If Portland doesn't make it, then what? Because I can tell you the majority of Portland fans aren't going to want to go. If Portland loses, then they better be praying that the OL Reign make it, because they're the closest team to Portland. The next closest is Kansas City, separated by 1,790 miles. And the other teams only get further away. My point here is that Portland is pretty much separated from 8 of the other 9 NWSL teams. So let's say that the championship is a matchup between Washington and Orlando. Now you have a final between 2 teams that play on the opposite side of the country, facing off in Portland. And the majority of the fans cannot go. Meanwhile, the alternative is let the highest remaining seed host the final. So that way, at least the home team can have the majority of their fans there. Now, obviously, the league took a gamble on the hosting site, hoping that Portland will be in the final, and they're probably right. Now, don't get me wrong, Providence Park is a gorgeous stadium, but if Portland isn't in that final, the NWSL will have made a huge mistake. I mean, there is only one professional league in America that does neutral site championships, and that's the NFL. And I'm sorry to break it to you, but the NWSL is not on the same level as the NFL. There will not be insane amounts of fans traveling from all over to see this final be played if Portland is not in it. There is still plenty of time before this final takes place, and I seriously hope the NWSL rethinks this. Because if they don't, these could be some pretty bad ratings for the championship match, and it could really hurt the future of this league. And I know I said two problems. One last thing. Portland has an amazing stadium. I've admitted it. I'd love to go watch a match there. But turf, really? We're going to play the final on turf? How many of the greatest teams in the world play on turf? I'm sorry. That's just stupid. In my final opinion, I think it would have been better off to host at, anywhere in, the Midwest or Southern, obviously, Lim Family Stadium of Racing Louisville, BBVA Stadium for Houston. I can't think of Orlando's, but Orlando. Somewhere there where it would just be better for traveling. Obviously, this benefits Portland very well if Portland makes it, but if they don't, this is an issue. Let me know in the comments if you would watch this match if your team's not in it. Because, personally, if Racing Louisville isn't in this, I don't think I'm going to watch. I'm all for the support of this league, but like I said, college football on a Saturday at 12 o'clock, there's probably a much more exciting game going on between, Alabama and someone versus me watching two teams I really don't care much about. I'm here for the NWSL. I'm a big fan, and I want to be. So you put this game later in the day, I'm in, I'm watching. But noon on a Saturday, no, I'm sorry. I just don't think I'll be in. I just don't think I'll be tuned in. Comment down below where you think the final should be played. If you like this video, go ahead and like the video. If you like all my other videos, which I think you would, then consider subscribing. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace.